Stampers, Deb Valder here. I'm with Teaspoon of Fun, and I'm bringing you a card that we did at one of our big events. This card was a huge hit. It's very easy to do. I pre-cut and stamped a few things for you so that we could get going on it, but I want to show you how easy it is to use Copic markers to color these two little guys right here. They are absolutely fantastic. People just loved this card. It is also an interactive card, so you can put a saying down here if you wanted to, and you can also put one on the inside. This little stamp set is this one right here, and it is just a one stamp set. You just stamp it down and you're good to go. I also used the Believe Edger and the coordinating Believe Builder with it. I love these. They go hand in hand with each other, and you've seen all of the other Edger dies that we've used so far. And I've got one more beyond this, and then I know there's more going to be coming because these are just so much fun. And then on the inside, I used our Christmas Feelings. This stamp set is absolutely phenomenal. It is gorgeous. Just hits the season perfectly. I love this. So those are the stamp sets that we're going to be using. I also wanted to show you some of the cards. Oh, also what I'm going to use is this little guy right here. I've already got it mounted and ready to go, okay? This is our music background. It's a background stamp. But I wanted to show you a couple of other cards that we did with this one. So this right here is one that I did use the music background. You could also use our new Fa La 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 background on it if you wanted to. I love it. This one I actually glued down to the bottom, but did these the same way. Just super easy. This one, what I did was I stamped it and I just cut out one of the cardinals and put it on here. This is amazing. I also have it on another card right here, and you're going to absolutely love it. Let me just find the card. Here it is. This is another one that is just absolutely gorgeous. I embossed the cardinals on this on black cardstock, colored them in, but this part right here and this part right here are from something that are brand new in the shop, okay? teaspoonofFun.com. Go over there, hit shop, and it's just beautiful. These right here are called our Stick and Shines, and it comes as a combo. So you've got all the words, a couple of sets of those. You've got a couple of sets of the snowflakes, and then you also have the foil to go along with it. So it's a trial kind of thing to make sure you're going to love it. I use the applicator that goes with it. It's called the Stick and Shine applicator, so that is also in the shop. Very affordable. So that's something to kind of look into. So that's that one right there. That's that one right there. This right here is just the Believe. It's just such a beautiful combination. So today we're going to use the Believe and the background stamp here. I don't know if I showed you this one. Here's another one right here. I'm going to show you how to do all of these little sprinkles on here with our Luma paint. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Let's get going. I want to make sure that we get enough time to do all of this coloring. All right, so it's very fast, not a lot of complication to it. We're just going to start out with our Y2, and I'm just going to color the whole little guy in here. All right, just color in all of this little guy right here. All right, all around his head. There we go. All right, I'm going to leave this in here so you can see what I'm doing. All right, there's that. I'm going to go back in and color in some of the stuff with my Y35. Okay, up onto his. Now you see I'm not coloring it all in. We want to keep some of that yellow in there, and we're going to go and blend afterwards. So here's that. I'm also going to color his little beak with this and his little feet right down here. We won't do too much to those because there's not a lot of depth on those. All right, so we're just going to leave those the way they are, and then we're going to go in with our R27. All right, and all I'm going to do is just start coloring here. Now, in the event, they had two options. They could get for free the 11 markers. So in their little packets, they got 11 Copic markers for free. And then they had an option of an add-on. And I'm going to show you what we did with the add-ons. And they really enjoyed the add-ons and saw what a difference it makes when you have a little bit of contrast and darker elements going into it. So what I'm doing here is just kind of outlining what I want to start with my reds. All right, and then let's go up in here. His little head up right there. Okay, before I go any farther, I'm going to take my 110. All right, this is the black one, and we're just going to kind of color in this part right here. And that will be done just like his beak. That's pretty much done right there. Okay, there. See how that just kind of pops him out right there? Now I'm going to take my micron pen, all right, and I'm just going to take and darken up his little fluff right up here a little bit. You're going to see the difference between the two of them. Since I have it out, I might as well do it to the other one also. You see the difference between the two of them? Here's this one. Now we're just going to add a little bit more. I'm going to leave this out in case I have to add even more. All right, so you can start to see that it's starting to take shape. I'm going to start melting them together. That's what I call it. We're just going to start blending them and melting them together. And what I'm doing is getting rid of that stark little line right there. And you just kind of keep going back and forth between the colors. You see how they just... Alrighty, now we're going to go in with our R59 and start darkening up some of these little shaded. Now where I look for this R59 is where there should be a lot of contrast. All right, and what I mean by that is it's right underneath his little wing right here. Okay, and then we're just going to take and start blending these together. Okay, and then we're going to go back with the lighter. Alrighty, do you see how it just really popped it out so much more? We're going to go a little bit underneath here. And everybody at the event did it with me. We all did this at the same time. And theirs came out just beautiful. Okay, see how pretty his tail is? There we go. All right, let's work on his back up here. Whoops. Okay. And no two ever come out the same. All right, I'm going to go and get some dark right here. A little bit underneath here. And blend that in. And you can go back and forth with all of your different colors here. And then drop it down. See how they're all coming together? See his little belly? Isn't that adorable? All right, let's get this going. I got to get some depth on this one. So let's go back with color. And see, now I'm just kind of dotting it in. There. And I'm probably taking a little bit extra time, but I want to show you how, just playing around with it. You can come back to this tomorrow if you think you need to change a little bit on it. You can do that too. All right, so we're going to let that one dry. We're going to go on to the next one, and we'll be right back. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to take and bring in what I call the zinger. And what I like to show these guys, this is what's in the add-on kit right here. But in order to make it even a little bit darker, you don't want to go with a black, but you want to go with something that's going to really complement it. And I do my BG78. So what I'm going to do, and what I mean by really popping it, is to just put a little bit of shadow in the really big crevices. Okay, so I'm just going to take and clap a little bit there, maybe a little bit right there. I'm going to blend this in, but I just wanted to show you that it makes it pop even more. Okay, all right, then I'll go back with the color that is closest to that and just blend it in a little bit more. Okay, just like that. Isn't that so pretty? And these little guys were so fast and so easy. All right, so let's take and let's do our bulbs in the red also. So I'm going to start with my lighter color first. So I'm just going to go with my YO2. Okay, just color the centers of those, leaving a little bit of white on the edges. Okay, and then I'm going to take my red, and I'm going to go over that. And then take and let's go back to the top here. Alrighty, and then we're going to take our darker red and just fill in some of those spots to make them a little bit more highlighted. And then I'll go back in and blend. Alright, let's go back in and blend with our red. This is the R27. And then last, but not least, I'm going to go back in with my YO2. So when we were designing this class, or this event that we had, it was a 2-day event, we had to come up with colors for fall and winter, and then just general projects to do with just, well, we started out with 8. I brought it up to 11 Copics. So we had to incorporate all the same colors. This was the card that I really focused on because you really can't do cardinals in any other color, but they also have the colors that we could use in fall. So we have a core that we used, and it worked out really well. All right, so now we've got those. Now what I need to do is to just put some color onto my onto my little birch tree here. So I'm going to take my C3, and I'm not going to color the whole thing in. I'm just going to take and kind of just scrub in a little bit of color every so often. All right. I'm going to go over to here. Okay. There we go. Go up just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with my C3 or C5 and just darken up a couple of them. You see how I'm just kind of scrubbing in a little bit of color? And that's just to give it a little bit of depth, a little bit of shadowing. And then go back with this little guy right here. Now, the other color that, it's not a color, but another marker that we had, that we asked him to think about getting, and we put it in our add-on kit, was the 0. And that I call, I'm going to get it out and I'm going to show you. That one I call the eraser. It's also a very good blender. So if I went outside the lines anywhere, I could take and I could erase them with this little blender right here. But what I'm doing right now is just softening up the tree. Okay, there we go. Mixing the two colors together. There. Okay, so now we've got the birds, we've got the balls done, we've got the tree done, and now we have to do our background. But before I do that, I want to grab we sell the glitter gel pens, and we also sell the metallic gel pens. I'm going to use the glitter ones. These are awesome. They do not clog. They just keep on giving. All right, so I'm just going to take the silver one and color in these little guys right here. All right, so there's that. And now what I'm going to do is do our background. All right, so what I do with that is I'm going to bring in my blending brush. I'm going to move this out of the way for just a minute. I'm going to bring in my two colors, and today we're going to be using Broken China and Tumbled Glass. So tumbled glass is going to be our first color because it's the lighter of the two colors. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave everything on there. Of course, everything is going to be on there because it's here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to burnish around it. So pick up your color, start in the corner, and just burnish. And as you get closer to the critters and the tree, just go a little bit lighter. All right, but don't be afraid to go on it. Just don't go crazy on it. Okay. And I'm going darker, darker, darker in the corners. You see how this is coming out so pretty? Okay. That's how easy this is and how fast. So pretty. Alrighty, so we've got the basics of the blue down. That's the light one. That's called Tumbled Glass. And now we're going to switch that one out for the Broken China. And this one is darker. And this is the one that I want to really burnish close to the end. And you see how there's a difference in the two of them. I'll go back in with my other color in just a moment and blend them together. See how much contrast it has in it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is put the top back on that one, bring in my tumbled glass, and I'm going to burnish them together to kind of melt them together. First, I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper and just clean off my brush just a little bit. And if you hadn't noticed, what I did was I only used one brush because I'm only using blues. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just kind of feather this in. See how I'm kind of blending them together? Cleaning off my brush in between. See how they just kind of melt together? Now what you're going to look at right now is just to make sure that there's no like really stark, kind of like when you're doing your Copics, you want to make sure that there's no really stark lines in between them. Alrighty, there, isn't that beautiful? All right, so we've got all of that done. Now what we need to do is to splatter. But I think what I'll do is I'll splatter at the very end because I want to put the card together. All right, so now what I'm going to do is actually put the Believe on. So let's take and clean off our table right here. And I love using my little mat here. You'll see I use it for every video. I use it for every card that I make because it's so easy to clean up. All right, there we got the blue off of there. We got the blue off my fingers. And now what we're going to do is to add our Believe together. All right, so let's grab that. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. Now I'm going to use my precision tip glue press. And the reason I love that is because it is so detailed here at the end. And it works so nicely. This is mirror paper, so you want to be very careful when you go to put it on that you don't get the glue on the outside. You can take a little baby wipe. I live with those. You can take a little baby wipe and wipe it off after you're all done, but not necessary if you're careful. All right, so I've got my glue on there. Now I'm going to add that. So what I did was I kind of measured how much I wanted on the bottom, and then I just cut off, because the Believe die comes in 2 pieces. All right, it's got the word Believe, but it's also got the top outline. So we're going to take and just add that. I do 1 letter at a time, center that letter, and go on to the next one. All right, see how easy that was? Ta-da! Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around this little guy right here. And what I did was I made it just a little bit bigger than this. Okay, so this is 4 1/4. This is probably 4 1/2. And what I'm going to do is just bend it over. I'm going to cut this little guy off right here. Let me grab my scissors. I'm going to cut this little guy off right here. Okay, making sure it's still down. What I like to do is to take my stamp pendable and just make sure it's all down good. Perfect. All right, so now what I need to do is to attach it right here. Now if you weren't going to make this open, all you would have to do is to glue it right down here. But I wanted it to be open so that you could see this little guy and to put another little sentiment on the inside. All right, so what I'm going to do is just wrap this around here just like this, making sure that this lines up over here. I did score it over here, but let's just make sure it all fits perfectly. And it does. Okay, now what I'm going to do is to grab my Easy Glide and add that to this. All right, let's make sure it's all nice and straight. There we go. And just adhere it down. Now we can take and add this to our card base, and I'm going to bring this in. That's our card base. I always open them from the top. We're going to add it just like that. Okay, now let's take and open it up, because I want to take and put my little snow on there. You see how I have the little snow? The way we do that is we take our Luma paint, we take our Inkwell. I'm just going to put a little bit in here with my palette knife. All right, that's some that I can actually re-wet. Okay, what you want to do when you put your top back on your Luma paint, you always want to make sure that the top is clean, because you do not want to glue it down. What I mean by that is if it's all crusty around here, it's going to end up the top's not going to come off really good. All right, so now what I want to do is grab my water, and I'm going to take and put just a drop of it right there. Okay, and my toothbrush. I showed them how to toothbrush this. All right. And I grab a paintbrush and just grab just a little bit of water. You don't want too much because then it'll be too liquidy. And we're going to just pick that up. Now, so that you don't get it everywhere, what you want to do is you want to take your toothbrush, and this is just a soft bristle toothbrush, unused, okay? And you want to point it where you want it to go. And it's very, very, it's fun. And it's very directional. And you see how pretty that looks when you put it on there? I think I'll get a little bit more. Because you never, you're not going to waste it because, it can dry in there and you can just add water to it. All right, let's add. So I never feel like I have 2 more of these that I have to do, so I thought I'd add more to it. All right, let's just, here we go. There we go. Look at that, isn't that pretty? Get a little bit on the little birds right there. Can you see how pretty that is? Oh, I love it. Let's see if we can get a couple of bigger ones. There we go. And this isn't hard. It's not rocket science. It's just so pretty. All right. All right. So let's grab our baby wipe. Let's clean up our hands and our little mat right here. All right, now what I'm going to show you how to do to finish this little guy up is, I wanted to show you how to do the fa la 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 la. We can do that too. Or not the fa la 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 la, we're going to do the music notes. So I can just take and do the music notes right here. I'm only going to stamp the center of it. Let's do it with the tumbled glass. I don't want it all, I don't want a lot of it. So I'm just going to take and kind of like it's distressed. Before I do that, I always keep my little masks. I always keep my little masks so I can use them for all the cards that I need to. All right, so let's just take that. I'm just going to mask the tree. I don't care about the birds because it's not going to be that dark. But the tree is white, so here we go. I'm just going to press very lightly and lift. And you see how it's got just a little bit of, we'll lift this up. It's got a little bit of the words on the bottom. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. It's just so pretty. So we've got a little bit of the music background there. We can actually take our paintbrush with a little bit of water. Let me find my water here. We're going to take our paintbrush with a little bit of water and just, you're kind of erasing it. It's not affecting the it's not affecting the Copics because they're not water soluble, but the distressed is. Isn't that pretty? All right, so we've got, oops, let me get this little guy out. He does have a little bulge right there. There we go. All righty, so isn't that pretty? Look at, that's just so pretty. Now we're still not done. The last thing that I'm going to do, let me just take and clean off that too. That's a little bit too much of the distressed on there. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crystal glaze and just add that to the bulbs. Before I do that, I just wanted to show it to you before I put it all together. All right, and I'm going to take and put some crystal glaze on here. I'll have to let this set so it dries. And that is our card for today. I want you to let me know what you're thinking of it. Leave a comment down below. If you want to come to the Teaspoon of Fun website, you'll see, or the shop, you're going to see the little eye up in the upper right hand corner, or in the description down below, there's a clickable link. You can get to our shop from there. If you like what we did today, please subscribe and click on the little button so you'll get a video, or you'll get notified when our next video comes up. And please share this with your friends. If you have any questions, let us know. Like I said, this is an amazing card. I don't want to close this because it'll stick because of that right there. But I just wanted you to see what we did today. I hope you enjoyed it. You take care. Have a great day, and thank you for stopping by.